What is your dirty secret that you are proud of? The first time I came home on leave from the army, I hadn't seen my wife in 7 months. We stayed at my parents' house. She had moved in with her mother in that time to save money. My parents went out the first night we were there to see a movie without us, in a kind of wink-wink, nod-nod situation. I had been in an incredibly stressful environment for 7 months without seeing my wife. I was also now highly physically fit. I banged that girl so hard I broke my cherrywood bed frame and the bed collapsed underneath us. I was pretty busy that week and forgot to fix it before I left for Germany. The first phone call to my dad, he said, "Oh yeah," laughing, "I fixed your bed frame for you. I don't know what you did to that poor girl, but I hope she's all right," more laughing. Story 2. I was on a date with a girl probably out of my league. We eventually made it to a park and strolled onto a small bridge. There was a rushing stream below us, and it was nighttime, so no one was there next to us. Hearing all the water below really made me have to pee. Like, really bad. So as both of us were leaning over the rail watching the stream, I quietly unzip and whip out my willy. I pee down a support to minimize the splashing. The relief I felt was orgasmic. Story 3. Got together with a girl who was also in second year at university with me. It was pretty carnal. We were really attracted to one another and hooked up often and aggressively. It was hot. Anyway, one of the first few times we got together, she invited me over. I went into her room, and she had a red, sheer, satin sheet thrown over her lampshade, casting a red hue to the room. She had high thread count Egyptian cotton sheets and tons of pillows on her bed. She also had, beside the bed, a bowl of mixed fruit. We made love, and afterwards I lay back in the afterglow of the sex onto a mountain of pillows with her draped, naked, across me, laying on my chest amidst expensive cotton sheets, and she began to feed me fruit from the fruit bowl, like actually holding cherries up for me to bite off the stem. I felt like a sultan. It was amazing. Story 4. Not proud of the moment, but I am proud of the result. Me and my wife had 2 kids and decided that was enough children. We got married after the kids were born and went on a honeymoon. We got drunk and had sex without protection. The next day we panicked a bit and went to a drug shop and got a regret pill. My wife took it at the hotel room. Crisis canceled. After this we thought nothing about it and continued with the honeymoon. Like half an hour late, she gave me a head. She never ever gives me head as she chokes easily, so this was a real treat for me. When I came hard, and the cum shot landed at the back of her mouth, and she puked all over the floor and me. We laughed it off and joked about it for the rest of the vacation. A few weeks after, when we came home, she did not get her period. We got anxious, and it turned out she was pregnant. The only time we had sex without protection was at that hotel room. When she puked after the head, she must have puked out the pill as well. So now we have 3 kids. The youngest is as amazing as the other 2, and I am proud to have him. But he must never ever find out how he was conceived. Turns out heads do make babies. Story 5. Had the best sex to date when a friend of mine said he'd give me a ride home after a long day of work. The car ride was long but immensely fun because of our playful bantering. We swapped sex stories, and I could count on having a great conversation with him because of our common interests. He came inside my small apartment, and one thing led to another. Basically, we went a few rounds, tried many positions that had me bending in awkward angles but felt really good, and we eventually moved my mattress so much that it flipped on us. Oh, and during his more rougher goes, we broke my curtain rod. He also enjoyed my impromptu twerking during doggy, which I had never done before but felt so damn good, so planned to do again. Also learned that I could squirt that day. All in all, it was an amazing night. Story 6. After being in a miserable monogamous relationship for the entirety of my adult life, I am finally with someone who is more sexually compatible with me. 2 weeks ago, one of her close friends, who she had hooked up with in the past, came over and we had a great night out dancing. When we got home, my girlfriend crashed, but I wanted to bang, so I asked my girlfriend if she would be okay if I had sex with her friend. She said, "Go for it," so I did, and her friend and I had some awesome sex. The following day, the 2 of them were discussing it, and they both agree I am great in bed. This is a big confidence booster for me because the woman I was previously with for 12 years was very sexually repressed, and we would have sex once every 3 to 6 months, and she was the only person I had ever had sex with. I don't know, it's hard to explain in text, but I feel more sexually liberated and as a result happier than I ever have in my life. I've been wanting to tell someone, but no one in real life wants to hear about all the awesome sex you're having, and no one on the internet ever believes you when you talk about it. And it's not that I want to brag or anything. I'm just so happy, and I wish I could express that happiness to people. Story 7. I'm a male nurse student. When I had a 2-month internship in a hospital, I worked together with some nurses who were both male and female. Majority was female, of course. I was also working together with 2 other students on the department. The 3 of us each had 1 mentor nurse. They gave us grades. One day, I had a late shift with another student, and we actually didn't talk much since we worked together. Well, one nurse said we had to check on a patient who rang his little bell. We did what we had to do and made some eye contact while doing it, and that made it happen, I guess. We left the room, and she went the other way from the nursing post, and I asked where she was heading to. "Come with me and find out," she said. I followed, already thinking of awesome stuff would happen, and what do you know? We went into a storeroom, locked the door, and had awesome sex. From that day, we had sex for like 4 times until our internship was done. After that, we had a friend with benefits relationship for a good 4 months until she got a boyfriend. Story 8. So I had a Tinder date with a girl Eve never met before. She lives about 3 hours away from where I used to live. It was quite a nice evening. We talked a lot, smoked some weed, and watched a movie. With both of us being a little shy, nothing really happened. So after she fell asleep, I went to the kitchen to get some water. It wasn't very late, about 10 p.m., and her roommate sat there asking me how the date is going so far. I told her that it was very fun so far, and that I was looking forward to the next 2 days with her, but also told her that there was no sexual interaction whatsoever so far. All of a sudden she stood up, slowly walking towards me saying, "Can you keep a secret?" and started kissing me so passionately, I still get a boner just thinking about it, lol. After 15 minutes of making out with my hands between her thighs, she started to pull down my pants and gave me one of the best heads Eve ever had. I lasted about maybe 2 minutes because I was so turned on by the whole thing that was going on. And yes, she swallowed. After I came, she just walked outside the kitchen with a smile and wished me a good night. The next 2 days felt a bit awkward with both of the girls sitting together with me in the kitchen when we made dinner. Story 9. I had sex with identical twins, sadly not together. Started talking to twin one on an anonymous social media app. We got to sexting. She was sending me a lot of explicit pics and vids, but after a few weeks it sort of fizzled out before meeting. Fast forward a month or so, and I bumped into what I thought was the same girl on the app, and I almost ruined it by saying what I thought was her name. Turned out it was twin 2. We got talking, and the same thing happened. She was completely unaware I'd be talking to her sister. Twin 2 and I met soon after and banged a few times. Funny, at one point she was talking about twin 1 and how they're so different because twin 1 would never be this dirty with guys. God, it was so hard biting my tongue from saying actually she sent me pics of her ass. Anyways, twin 2 and I, after a few weeks, sort of cooled off. She met someone and they started a proper relationship. Twin 1 pops up again on social media. We begin talking again, and this time we met and also banged a few times. Not the most exciting experiences in the world, but it was at least pretty unique.